Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Django. What'd you read this week, buddy?
Oh, I read.
Oh, gosh, I didn't.
You didn't read Thor?
I haven't read Thor.
Thor number 1. Donny Cates.
Yeah,
Right?
Catesgate.
It's, welcome to the Catesgate. Thor's the king, and it's very Donny Cates.
It's okay. That's what I want to know. Donny Cates has been, kind of in the middle ground. It's been a long time since we were like, ooh, a Donny Cates book. Is this that one?
Not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me. Maybe for you. Can I give you a spoiler?
Yeah. I'm not too worried about it.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if Galactus landed in Asgard?
Okay, so I'm obviously a huge Galactus guy, as you know, Galactus. Cates notorious for huge spoilers at the end of like first, second, and third issues. Is there one of those in this?
I don't remember.
Oh, I'm just like, it's kind of the big release of the week rather than Star Wars 1.
His new costume's a big spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're excited about it? Should I read it?
You should read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's good for Thor, and I think it's very Donny Cates, so if you like Donny Cates.
Well, Donny Cates has a fair amount of Kirby in him. Galactus. Mm-hmm. Are you reading Olympia?
No.
So this is the Curt Pires, Tony Pires image book. We talked about number 1 on the podcast. Roman was not a fan of it. I liked it a lot. We talked a lot last night about Scribble comics while we were doing inventory here, and this one is like a Grant Morrison Scribble comic. Curt Pires loves Grant Morrison. I like him. He's like kind of like a poor man's Grant Morrison. Love you, Curt. No shade on you. But it's just like a very kind of 90s image comic take on a Grant Morrison image comic.
I'm going to talk about this one.
Yeah. Ooh!
Hawkeye Freefall.
I did read Hawkeye Freefall. This is, I think, we interviewed Matt Rosenberg on our podcast, so everyone should check that out. We have a link for that. So I was pretty excited about this book a while ago. They sent us an internet PDF of it. I read it again in physical copy because it was just way better in physical form than on the internet. What did you think?
I didn't read it on the internet. So it's Otto Schmidt and Matt Rosenberg. This is weird Otto Schmidt for me. It doesn't look anything like the Green Arrow that he was doing, which is what I'm most familiar with him on. I thought that this was really well done. It's kind of sarcastic, quippy version of Hawkeye. Parts of it felt a little more precious than I wanted. Just a couple of the jokes were a little eye-rolly for me. But in general, real good book. And I like the cliffhanger. I would have read another 4 pages today if I could have.
I think that Matthew Rosenberg is a writer I like a lot, but I haven't been able to pin down like a real strong writing style for him because he's pretty versatile. And this one felt like I really kind of had a feeling for the personality of Rosenberg behind the writing. Yeah. And I love the Otto Schmidt art. It's a lot more kinetic. There's a lot more motion, but there's not a lot of Otto Schmidt art out there, and it's really, really cool looking. Yeah. It's fast and cartoony and super sexy. I loved this book. I can't wait for more of it.
Nice.
Good on you, Matt Rosenberg. Hey, Django, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You need a body?
Can you sell me a body?
I can sell you a body.
You can sell me a comic. I can sell me a body.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Did you read I Can Sell You a Body?
Yeah. 2 thumbs sideways.
2 thumbs sideways. I think that's where I'm at as well. You know what it kind of reminded me of? Would be like a cartoonier version of Gunning for Hits.
Yeah.
From Image Comics about the record exec guy. It's sort of like a supernatural medium guy, but it's like this kind of fuck up who's just working through a bunch of debt, and he meets somebody, and it's like a weird loophole. Like I don't know. I didn't like the character, but I also really liked reading everything he said.
I didn't believe the character. I believe that he could talk to ghosts more than I believe he would give a random girl all of his money. Yeah. In that situation. But I like the setup a whole lot.
And it was sort of like Gunning for Hits mixed with Chew or something, because there was like a weird disconnect between the art and the seriousness of the story, but that kind of became the selling point of it. I didn't love it. I think it's a real like kind of sideways book, but I did think that I didn't know that the main character was believable, but it was like reading Ryan Reynolds for like 22 pages. And like, you love Ryan Reynolds, even when you don't necessarily love the movie.
Somebody's going to like this book a lot.
Someone's going to like it a lot. And I'll sell him a book about selling him a body, for sure. Oh.
Star Wars number 1. Did you read it?
No. I didn't read the big releases this week.
A-okay.
Yeah.
I would say a 45-degree thumb up.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty good.
You know me in Star Wars, like if it's not if it's not part of a trilogy, I'm gonna be kind of thumb sideways.
Yeah, this is between episode 5 and 6. It's the best Star Wars comic I've read in a long time. I haven't read a ton of them in a while.
What's the thing that you spent all night last night talking about while doing inventory in the store? Charles Soule should be the person that we have write every sequel to a book that doesn't need a sequel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Fight Club 4.
Let's reboot Star Wars. Get Charles Soule involved. Yeah.
What else?
Well, are you current on Daredevil?
Yeah, but I didn't even know this one came out this week.
Yeah. Well, it's because the FOC and the series codes didn't get attached and all this stuff. But
Sure. Deep cut.
This book is so good. I read 15 and 16 back to back.
This is Fornes?
And this was Fornes on this art, like, who we love, and it's amazing here. This book has something in common with the next book that I'm going to talk about, X-Men 4. I love that this book has largely made the bad guys, and in X-Men, the same case, the bad guys are rich, old, white people.
Right.
Because they're the people really in the way of anybody having freedom or excess or anything. Like, they're the people really holding people back, or Hell's Kitchen. It's a bunch of rich people who have a bunch of money to make profit of. The fact that this book and X-Men are both tackling that, I think, is a really cool sign of our times right now. Yeah. It's indicative of the sort of era of American. Anyway, it's super good. I wish Fornes did the art in all of the issues, because he's absolutely the best.
Punisher Soviet.
It's still going.
It's gross. It starts out with people who've had all of their limbs cut off, and it ends with something way worse.
Oh, that's that classic. It's Garth Ennis and it's Jacen Burrows. So you got a writer who won't pull punches and an artist who drew Crossed forever.
Yeah.
So
if you like those, read that. Action Comics.
Yeah.
Number 1018.
What do you got, bud? What do you got?
I keep thinking Bendis is going to lose me.
Uh-huh.
He's got big dumb action stuff. He's got like he's moving towards all the stuff about Superman that I don't care about much. John Romita Jr.'s art is not doing him any favors in this issue. Mm-hmm. There are some drawings that I'm surprised made it past the DC editors, but I read this whole thing and I enjoyed the whole thing.
Bendis,
I don't know how he does it.
I don't either, aside of I just think he's one of the best writers in comics, and I love him, and even when the art's not great, I love it. I think I'm an issue behind on action. I actually didn't read the last one with Romita art because, I don't want to say negative stuff about him, but it's just, I'll just skip past his art at this point.
It's hard. He reveals his identity to the fireman, the fire lady from
the marshal
the
from the
first
beginning.
run.
Good or something.
So good.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Every time Bendis spends 2 pages or even 1 page with Superman revealing his identity to one person, it almost brings me to tears.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, that's like Bendis' ability to do this Superman run. Like, he's got the perfect grasp, I think, on that character and what he means to other people, which I think is the most important part. Hey. Well, what's your final book there, bud?
Oh, it's from last week.
Oh!
Doctor Strange. Did you read it?
No.
I did. Do you want to see a back issue that I got? This. It's pretty good. It's a pretty solid book. It's the first Doctor Strange book I've read in a long time, and the art's amazing. And Mark Waid. Wade always writes a very readable, enjoyable comic.
Roman, who works here, who's worked here longer than anybody, loved it. He's been loving this Waid run. So Doctor Strange is a character that's never been incredibly compelling to me. Mm-hmm. So I keep trying things out. I will read this for sure, but holidays and everything. Yeah. And we spent all of several days here doing inventory. But before we get out of here, Django, did you get any back issues you're excited to show me about, Mr. Back Issue Guy?
I got one.
Oh, all right. What you got?
We got a copy of the first appearance of Darkseid.
On the topic of Kirby.
It's kind of a tricky first appearance of Darkseid because it's one panel of Darkseid in a television. So it's like the shittiest first appearance that could exist.
But also, doesn't that kind of make sense that given like Darkseid, the Omega effect, the anti-life equation, like travels through technology or psych, it'd be awesome that his first appearance is in a television screen.
And it's Kirby's like one of his very first books that he did for DC. Like, they brought him over from Marvel, and I don't think DC knew what to do with him because he was so, like just out there and
the DC
bonkers. And like,
guys-
yeah, give him Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, the DC like writers were all pretty pissed when he came over because they're like, well, he does it a different way. That's not how we do stuff.
Yeah.
But he got his own corner. He got 4 separate books to do this Fourth World arc. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy that Superman's ex-pal, Jimmy Olsen, is like one of the 4 pillars of Kirby's Fourth World, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
it's an exciting historic issue.
What's a issue like that cost?
Oh, this one's probably in about a 6.5 grade, and it'll be somewhere in the $60 to $80 range. I haven't done all the math on it yet.
It's
but
going to be
somewhere in there.
steep when Darkseid shows up in those DC movies.
Yeah, somebody ought to snap it up.
I will. Fine, I'll do it. I love Jack
All right,
Kirby.
put it in your safe deposit box.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, there's still a lot of comics to be read this week.
Should we open this store?
Let's open the store and then hang up on the counter and read comics and ignore people.
Yeah.